Hey everyone, I'm going to put a pause on the devlog series while I get some more interesting content to show you. It's going to be a lot of boring networking stuff taking up most of my time, so until then I thought I'd mix up the videos. Today I want to talk about the monetization of my first 3 mobile games, what went wrong, and what I think I could have done better. To date, my games have made me a little over $600. That is severely in the red when you take in the development time and the assets purchased to make them. Luckily for me, this is not my full-time job and I'm definitely not in it for the money. At least not right now. I had low expectations and I just wasn't expecting my mediocre mobile games to skyrocket into video game folklore. So with that said, let's take a trip back to 2017 when I released my first mobile game, Downhill Slalom. Back in my game dev youth, I had just finished a tutorial making my first game, Crappy Bird. Released to critical acclaim, I decided it was time to at least attempt an original game of my own. Something simple, hopefully addictive, with online leaderboards. To say I wasn't inspired slightly by Ski Free would be a lie. What I decided on was a back and forth slope treading game where the objective was to not crash and hit jumps. Sounds simple enough. I'm no artist either, so the early placeholder of a ball kind of just stayed as it was. I decided that was the artistic direction I wanted to head in instead of admitting that I had reached the limits of my design with the circle as the main character. Without boring you too much, the player flows back and forth on the screen with each tap. If you get close to a tree, you earn 100 points, get close again, it goes to 200, 300 for the next, and so on. If you can't chain trees close together, it resets to 100. The real way to get points is to hit a jump which leaves you uncontrollable while airborne. This doubles your score, so worth the risk. That's basically it. Throw in a scoreboard and some instructions and you've got yourself a game. It released on April 9th, 2018 and peaked at a measly 23 unique devices 3 years later. I wasn't too concerned. I could hardly expect a game that I could now make in one day to be able to generate any sort of player base. So as more of a learning experience than anything else, I added some ads to the gameplay, as is tradition in mobile gaming. I didn't go crazy because like everyone else I hate ads, but us developers don't work for free either, so I feel it's kind of a necessary evil. Anyway, I have only just recently loaded my Unity dashboard and I'm actually pleasantly surprised that I've managed to earn a whole $5.40 over the last 5 years. Not bad. Although the minimum payout is $20, so I guess I'll withdraw that in another 15 years. So one game down and currently sitting at a staggering $5.40. With the knowledge gained from this, I figured I could take a stab at creating a game that might actually generate a bit of money. It didn't go as expected, but there was an avenue of income I wasn't expecting. So my next game was going to be 3D. The very thought of characters, models, animations, and bone setup scared the hell out of me, so I figured I would make a nice easy racing game.
Car goes beep 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 beep, car goes beep 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 beep.
I can make cylinders turn, especially with the help of Unity's wheel colliders. It just seemed like the easier route to take at this stage of my development career. Anyway, I was determined to put some work into this one and I've come to realize that starts with marketing. The one thing I have learned from reading posts, watching devlogs and my own past experience is that you need to gather interest early. Your game will not do well if people don't know it exists. If you're halfway through making a game and you haven't started a devlog or posted to Reddit or created a Twitter account, it's not too late. If not for anyone else, do it for yourself. I find it rewarding to look back on my work and to see how far I've come. Once you gather a following, it will also keep you accountable to make sure you finish it. Anyway, I can't stress how important it is to generate interest. So that's what I tried to do. I tried to post meaningful updates, funny bugs, issues, challenges, progress, whatever I could. It did not go great. The game idea was an open world racer. You would drive around and select which level you wanted to enter in a Super Mario 64 style exploration. Each level would hold a record from anyone else that had been playing and you could race alongside their ghost to see if you could beat their time. The ghost concept started a whole new journey for me. What I created was a script that allowed you to record frame by frame the position and rotation of a game object and save it to a file for later retrieval. Once I had created this feature, I surgically removed it from my game and added it to an empty demo project which I later added to the asset store. I am selling it for $4.99 and since its upload, it gathers about 2 downloads per month. Nothing crazy, but it is now my main source of revenue. I would encourage everyone to think about anything in their game that might be beneficial to other developers and to create an asset to be sold online. The work is already done, you may as well make a bit of money out of it. So with that in place, I continued to develop my game and I was happy with what I ended up with. I found it enjoyable and thought it looked pretty impressive. The public did not think the same. As good as I thought it may be, there is an endless sea of mobile games all competing for your attention, and without a budget of advertising, or at the very least a whole lot of luck, there is no way to be seen. I tried everything on this one. I sent out hundreds of free redeemable coupons for in-game currency, created a website, review bombed it with 5 stars, and even translated the store listing into 5 other languages. Despite all these efforts, the game peaked at 151 consecutive users.
Don't look at me! Don't look at me!
For what it is, I guess I'm not too disappointed. This is a hobby in my spare time and only the second game I've ever made, so to be making $10 a month off asset sales, I will consider this a win. I did learn plenty though, and I'll say it one last time, market early and often. No one is going to buy your game if they don't know it exists. Anyway, with the assets purchased and the feedback I received, I decided to stick to the racing genre for my next game. The main feature I received and believed to be a sticking point with a lot of people is the decision to make it a 2.5D isometric racer. I think it worked well for what I was going for, but it is not how everyone enjoys or expects a racing experience to feel. So I had paid for a lot of high quality racing assets and had the experience to rig everything up, so I figured I would make a traditional racing game of sorts. I wanted to make it a truly online experience where you could play alongside friends. I envisioned a mobile game like Grand Theft Auto and the impromptu minigames it holds as you're playing. For those that don't know, GTA would begin a minigame as you played, whether it be longest jump, fastest speed, furthest distance without crashing, etc. All players would compete across the map, and after time expired, a winner would be crowned. So off to work I went. Without boring you with the development lifecycle too much, I managed to get a working online racer developed over the next year or so. Using Punt as a multiplayer framework and plenty of assets from the asset store, I think I got to about 80% completion before the dreaded project fatigue set in. And I think this is something every developer experiences, where they start looking to their next big project before finishing their current one. With the knowledge of my last racing game and the unsuccessful flop that it turned out to be, I lost a lot of interest and basically patched up what I had and threw it onto the iOS and Play stores. Without a team of developers, you can imagine how hard testing a multiplayer game is by yourself. It just made me lose interest, and I believe I was ready to work on what I would call my dream game. The thing is, I've never really been into racing games. Mario Kart is about as close as I get, so to make 2 racing games as my first projects doesn't really keep me motivated in the long run. I find myself playing shooter games, or for the longest time I was playing Heroes of Newerth, a League of Legends style MOBA game. So it's no surprise where my next project is taking me. Before I get into that, the metrics of my now titled World Racing game did not go well. With little to no marketing or social media presence, I let that one slide off into the abyss. A little disappointing, but even spending the next 5 months finishing it, I feel I would be in the same position as I am now. Not to say it was a complete loss though. Throughout the development, I played with the idea of modeling a full city from scratch. I contacted some online modelers, and for a bit of money, they developed some assets for me to use in the early prototype. While they didn't get used in the final release, I took the trees, roads and sign assets and created another small asset I sell for $4.99. Again, it's not much and maybe gets 1 sale a month if I'm lucky, but it beats not having $5 a month. There was a final asset I sell that is the particle effects I use for the cars. It's not much, but it does get another 2 sales a month. All in all, I can't say too much about mobile development. It is so saturated these days that I truly believe you need to get extremely lucky or have a giant marketing budget. It's pretty frustrating because if you check the top 100 or so games, it is just filled with garbage. A lot of them are just companies with the largest budgets. That will be the last mobile game I make. It's time to start working on my dream game. Shooters and MOBAs are my go-to. So, I'm hoping I can combine the two to make what I see as a unique video game genre. I imagine the gameplay to match The Last of Us. I don't want a twitch shooter like Apex Legends, Counter-Strike or Call of Duty. I want slow, methodical and tactical gameplay. You will start, as all MOBAs start, level 1, a bit of in-game currency and some average player stats. You can increase your level by completing objectives, killing NPCs or killing other players. You will obviously continue to upgrade your stats, skills and guns until one team becomes victorious. I am hoping to split characters into classes, much like a MOBA with truly dedicated supports, tanks and carries. This is where I want to become a unique shooter. A good team will be able to assist and farm the carries so they can lead them to victory. That's the plan anyway. From the gameplay I'm showing you, you can see how far it has to go. But I'm determined to do this one right. In saying that, you can follow the progress on this channel and several socials I'll add to in the description. So that's it for my game dev journey. Still a long way to go, but determined to see this one through. I hope that has been insightful if you were just starting your game dev journey, or if you're a seasoned veteran, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you all next time.